There was a man named Daniel, a tired office worker who wanted a quiet escape from city life. So when he found an old abandoned farmhouse on the edge of a forgotten town in Pennsylvania, he thought he had finally found peace, even though the locals warned him that nobody stayed there for long, that the place was cursed, that the walls don't like to be disturbed. But Daniel brushed it off as small-town superstition, and on his first night, he unpacked his bags in the dusty living room, listening to the creaks of the wooden beams, when at midnight he heard it knock, 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 coming from inside the walls, faint at first like pipes settling, but as nights passed the knocking grew louder, sharper, and strangely deliberate, until one night he froze in bed, realizing the rhythm was perfectly mirroring his own heartbeat. Thump, knock, thump, knock, thump, knock. And with every beat, the sound inside the walls matched, as though the house was alive and listening, and against his better judgment, he grabbed a hammer and broke open the paneling. In the moment it would split, a rush of icy air burst into the room, carrying the sour smell of rotting flesh. And inside he found a hidden crawl space, no bigger than a closet, where a single wooden chair stood with a corpse slumped on it, skin shriveled tight, jaw half open in a silent scream, and worst of all, its glassy eyes seemed to lock directly onto him, staring as though it had been waiting, and horrified, Daniel sealed the wall back up. But from that night the noises escalated, no longer just knocking but whispers, faint and broken, sliding out of the walls, some calling his name, others hissing in layered voices. You opened the door, now it's your turn, and sleep became impossible as shadows moved across the ceiling with no source of light. Mirrors fogged up with words scratched into them though no one had touched them, and the smell of decay lingered wherever he went, until one stormy night he awoke to find a bloody handprint smeared across his bedroom door, fresh and dripping. And when he turned his head toward the dark corner of the room, his heart stopped, because the corpse from the crawl space was no longer inside the wall. It was standing upright, twisted, its bones cracking with every step, head tilted unnaturally, eyes locked on him as it dragged its foot slowly toward the bed, and Daniel screamed, running to the door, pulling the handle with all his strength. But it wouldn't budge. The windows were nailed shut, every exit sealed tight, as though the house itself had decided to trap him. And then came the voice, deeper than anything human, vibrating through the walls. "You freed me, now you take my place." And as the figure lunged, his screams were swallowed by the storm outside, and the next morning the townspeople, who had heard shrieks echoing from the farmhouse but were too afraid to intervene, finally opened the door, and inside everything looked normal except the broken wall, where in the hidden crawl space now sat not one corpse but two, the ancient husk still locked in his eternal stare, and beside it Daniel's body, fresh, lifeless, eyes wide open in frozen terror, mouth hanging as if mid-scream, forever trapped in the cursed chair, waiting for the next soul foolish enough to move into a farmhouse and listen too closely to the knocking in the walls.